The ruling elite seem to have lost their minds in the last few days. The language they're using, treason, sedition, authoritarians and autocrats. The Republican Party dies on Wednesday, the Jim Crow caucus. I'm principled, but if you disagree with me, it's because of your ambition. It is all insane, histrionic hype to try and boost their relevance. I don't know whether it's because they've been cooped up for so long with these lockdowns, whether they're just spending too much time on Twitter and their stupid cell phones. But honestly, get it together, people. This is America. We deserve serious leaders who behave seriously. Right now, the ruling elite are behaving with all the emotional maturity and political sophistication of a teenager on Instagram. Moral preening, vapid showboating, formulaic virtue signaling. They're just not serious. Policy that helps people's actual lives is too boring for them. Instead, they hyperventilate about treason and sedition. It's so much easier. But at what cost to our civic culture? It's so divisive, so reckless. These people are privileged to have a platform. Why can't they use it responsibly? We have to lower the temperature. We have to be able to talk about political disagreements without calling people traitors. This is what CNN was putting out this morning.
Traitors, sedition, bloodless coup.
Here's a fact check from law professor Jonathan Turley, widely respected on all sides, who opposes the election challenge but says, this is not a bloodless coup. It is making the same challenge under the same federal law previously used by Democrats. The rhetoric is now entirely untethered from reality. Exactly. The establishment's rhetoric is entirely untethered from reality. Here are the facts, which are not disputed. There is widespread distrust of the election. 4 out of 5 Republicans, nearly 40% of all Americans, 40%. Many millions of independents, even over 4 million Democrats. What are all these people, dumb peasants, brainwashed by Trump's lies and Fox News, as the elite so insultingly claim? Come on. They just see what's happened to our voting system. The election was 2 months ago, yet we still have, today, congressional races without a result. They haven't finished counting. What kind of banana republic dysfunction is that? Ballot harvesting. It's supposed to be one person, one vote, not one union activist, 156 votes. What kind of banana republic corruption is that? No voting system that has legalized ballot harvesting will ever be trusted. We should not allow it for any election anywhere, but instead, and now we get to the heart of the distrust, the Democrats have been pushing ballot harvesting everywhere. They use the virus as an excuse to bend the voting rules in their favor. We know that because they pushed those exact changes long before the virus in Pelosi's notorious H.R. 1 bill back at the start of 2019. We were warned repeatedly, not least by the Wall Street Journal, that the Democrats' multiple late changes to the rules would cause massive legitimacy problems, especially in the event of a close election. Well, the election was close, 43,000 votes in 3 states, 30,000 according to National Review's Andy McCarthy. In 5 of the 6 battleground states, Pennsylvania, Georgia, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Arizona, late changes to the voting system pushed by Democrats were made not by state legislatures as the Constitution specifies, but by courts, commissions, or the executive branch. These are facts. Now Democrats are angry this is all coming to a head and that it's raining on Biden's parade. Well, I'm sorry, but you reap what you sow. You're the ones who pushed ballot harvesting. You're the ones who pushed the changes to the system that were designed to help your party, that were all in Pelosi's bill long before the virus. Not Trump, not Josh Hawley, not Ted Cruz, not the Republicans. It was you, the Democrats, who did this to America. Not to mention 4 years of conspiracy theories and trying to overturn the previous election. And now, when anyone has the temerity to point all this out, they're the ones accused of undermining democracy.
Right now, our country is facing 2 historic crises. One is the greatest public health emergency in a century, and the other threatens the health of our democracy.
Undermine democracy?
Undermining democracy.
We have to stop this. It's undermining confidence in democracy.
What Orwellian doublespeak. The actual undermining of democracy would be to allow all this to pass without protest. Everything that stopped 2020 being a fair election, the Democrats, partisan changes, big media and big tech, 100% working for Biden. Right now, millions of Americans are so angry about the presidential election, they couldn't care less about these Senate elections. As far as they're concerned, unless Trump is there to fight for them, it makes no difference who's in charge of the Senate anyway. They think they'd get the same result whether it's McConnell or Schumer. From Washington, the same result, whether it's Pelosi or Boehner or Biden. What is the difference? They were all a disaster for decades. Open borders, endless war, the rich get richer, workers get screwed, big business boosted, small business crushed, donors rewarded, jobs exported, communities weakened, China empowered. Don't the ruling elite understand that millions backed Trump in 2016, in 2020, and back him now? Precisely because he is a living, breathing, tweeting rebuke to all of them and their pompous, incompetent, corrupt establishment ways. Now they go on TV to dance on Trump's grave.
He has really divided the Republican Party, and with just 4 weeks left in his presidency.
Is President Trump losing his grip on the GOP? Is Trump losing his grip on the party? As President Trump enters his final 3 weeks in office, there are signs that he's losing his grip on the Republican Party.
What arrogance! These pundits think the party is the politicians in Congress. No, the party is the people. And they're sticking with Trump because he delivered results. Jobs up, inequality down, earnings up, poverty down. Wars ended, borders defended, China confronted, wokeness resisted. And if sticking with Trump means sticking it to Mitch, they think so much the better. Mitch McConnell is everything that's wrong with our political system. At this point, after all that's happened, the ruling elite's total lack of emotional intelligence is just staggering. People are furious about the election and furious about the ruling elite's catastrophically incompetent 2020. They utterly mishandled the virus, failed to protect the vulnerable, shut down the country for a disease that for most causes mild or zero symptoms, closed schools even though children are vastly less affected and barely contribute to virus spread, arrogantly assumed they could substitute government spending for the real economy, crushed small business, enriched billionaires and big business, then turned literally everything they said about the virus on its head as they encouraged mass gatherings. Now they continue with their cruel, counterproductive lockdowns, ignoring the science, ignoring the data, spending yet more money we don't have on lockdown bailouts, messing up the vaccine, delivered in record time thanks to Trump, by the way, instead of using it to end the lockdown as soon as possible by prioritizing the vulnerable, they waste doses on young, healthy people and tell us the lockdown must go on for most of the year. So please forgive us if after all that we never listen to a single word from the establishment experts and politicians and pundits ever again. Yes, it's vital to vote for David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler. We need them re-elected. But we also need a revolution in Congress and throughout our political system, a new populist army to kick out the failed establishment. In America, change comes from the people. Revolutions come from the people. So if you agree with what I'm saying, you have to run for office. That friend or family member who's always saying how much better they do than the idiots who get elected. You have to tell them to run for office. This is the moment to get started, not just to retake the House in 2022, but to retake it with a conservative, populist majority. Here are some resources to help you. AmericanMajority.org has training sessions to help grassroots candidates run for office. The Leadership Institute's Future Candidate School teaches conservatives how to create a winning campaign. And if you're a conservative woman thinking about running for office, check out winningforwomen.com.